Road Accident Fund has raised concerns over the devastating toll of road accidents involving school kids, revealing that approximately 4 children die every day due to road accidents. The 5-year average for road fatalities among school-going children aged 5 to 19 in South Africa is 1,288. Now, joining us to discuss these worrying figures is Road Accident Fund spokesperson McIntosh Polela. Good evening, McIntosh. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. So approximately 4 children die every day due to road accidents. I mean, this is honestly very worrying, and many have said that this figure then is proof that road users are not doing enough to save children's lives.
That's correct. So imagine this, you put 100 kids in a bus every month, knowing that they're not going to come back home. In other words, they're going to perish in a road accident. And that it's as stark as that, unfortunately. And what it means is that people are not paying attention to the gravity of the situation when they glance, even for a second, on their phone, when they pay attention to food, alcoholic or any beverages that they consume in the car. And as a result of that, they cause an accident. And for us, it's important to remind drivers of the consequences of what they do. And we assume many of these drivers themselves have kids. And unfortunately, because of their behavior or misbehavior, the kids are robbed of their future. I mean, some parents will never see these kids graduate from either school or university. Some parents will not be able to see their kids walking down the aisle. And it's all as a consequence of reckless behavior on the part of drivers.
It honestly is disturbing. But what does data indicate on the child fatalities insofar as exactly where are they found to be most vulnerable? Are you seeing more pedestrians or passengers that are losing their lives?
Well, unfortunately for pedestrians, it's the figure is alarming. It's around 40%, and we get passengers at around 60%, and then we get cyclists at around 2%. Wherever you look, the picture is not looking good. But again, it goes back to the person behind the wheel.
So just for clarity, pardon me there for interjecting. So for clarity, you're saying 60% would be pedestrians, and then the other 40 would be the passengers. Is that what I'm getting?
Passengers, yes.
All right.
Yes. And it's wherever you look again, I'm saying that the people that are responsible for these are primarily the drivers and their behavior. If they're not speeding, they're not wearing their seatbelts. If they're not wearing their seatbelts, they're busy looking at their phones. If they're not looking at their phones, they're busy consuming food while driving, something that they should not be doing. And so it's, yes.
Then for us as parents, this kind of information says to us that children walking on South African roads are the most vulnerable.
They are indeed. And unfortunately, I mean, from here, we are in the summer, right? We go into autumn. And then when we go into the winter, what we find that the people we lose the most in the winters, believe it or not, it's children and their mothers. Mothers because they're accompanying the kids to school. Children because it's dark and they're going to school. And unfortunately, they're not wearing visible clothing. But again, who are the culprits here? It's the drivers. It starts with the drivers. The drivers are the killers on the roads, if we can put it that way.
And yet we have so many road safety campaigns, but most certainly we'll continue this conversation with the Department of Transport. But then in closing with you, your fight with Discovery Health after that judgment in your favor in December, your CEO at that point had committed that you'd be looking to recoup monies you say Discovery claimed illegally, whereas Discovery had indicated that they'd be appealing that December judgment. What is the status of that matter now?
The status of the matter is that we have our people finalizing the numbers of exactly how much Discovery is owing us, and we're going to be demanding that money. We've put it on average as 500 million starting from the early 2000s. And so Discovery owes us billions upon billions of rand, and we want their money back. Whether they appeal or not, the judgment is very, very clear that they should never have claimed from us in the first place, and as such, they need to pay us back. That's where we are.
All right. McIntosh, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's RAF spokesperson McIntosh Polela.